you have the will and a moment to spare.
Good evening, friends. Today we have yet another friend with us. She is Miss Padmaja Penmetsa. She is a certified NLP trainer, a mind dynamics coach. She's an Access Consciousness Bars practitioner and a certified pranic healer. Talking about her education and qualifications, she has done her MBA in HR and then she got interested in human potential of the corporate world. She got her master's degree from the UK in strategic HR, and then she has also got a master's in psychology. Wow. She runs her own workshops with corporate and with different institutions, and she handles one on one coaching with her clients also. Recently, she got her book published, Butterfly on the Banyan Tree, and she's here today with us to talk more about the book and her journey. Welcome, Padmaja. Welcome to Beautiful Minds. And first of all, I want to know something, which I was very curious to know while reading your profile. There was a term, joypreneur. Like I've heard about entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and everything, but what is this joypreneur? I want to start with that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. And good evening, everybody. So, it's very nice when somebody asks, what is this joypreneur? But because, that's a word which actually, kind of arises the curiosity. So I was wondering, how do I tell people what I do? Because, when I started my work, my passion was to help people in them trying to understand a little bit more about themselves. Usually what happens is, we start creating our own perceptions about ourselves and the world. And along the way, somewhere we get lost. Somewhere we get lost with what we know and what we want to do and what we are taught. So
Absolutely.
eventually, we are actually sucked into the world and sucked into the things that we are supposed to do every day. But then one day when I was just wondering, okay, fine, what is it that I want to help with? Or, what is it that people are looking for? That is where the word joy came up. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be joyful. Now, when we talk about being happy and being joyful, according to me, I mean, it need not be the ultimate truth, but what stands right for me is happiness is something which is very elusive. Today something could be your happiness, tomorrow that will change. That's how it's good also, because that's how our ambitions also change, and that's how we start setting up goals and reaching new heights. But when you talk about joy, that is so inherent, that is so intrinsic, and that is so within you, that you're not in a hurry to kind of express. You're not in a to show something or to party or something like that. And that's where I felt joy is something which is within. And if we find that, I think that is when we will kind of come to a centric situation in terms of our mind, body, soul, or anything. So
Mhm.
that's how I started getting interest in the word joy. And
Right.
when I started working with people, I could actually see that people were able to accept and kind of peel off the layers of perceptions that they started building for themselves. So eventually, they started seeing themselves a little more clear. And see, it's like, when you look into the mirror, if there is dirt on the mirror or something like that, unless you clear it off, you can't see the clear image.
Absolutely.
That's what usually happens, when the water is you can see only through still water. So there needs to be calmness of mind, there needs to be stillness of mind, and all these things are possible only when we can find our joy. Because until we find that, there is certain disturbance, there is certain restlessness. So that's how I got interested in the word joy. And when I saw that all my work is around this, then I was like, okay, fine. Am I a life coach? Yes, I'm a life coach. But again, I prefer being called a life curator than a life coach. But then
Right.
this joypreneur came up because my work is entirely around that, helping people with joy. So if somebody is nurturing an enterprise, they're called a joypreneur. So if somebody is nurturing joy, why not a joypreneur? So that's how the word came in.
Beautiful.
And I get mixed responses, mixed reviews on this. Some people are like, they love the word, And some people are like, how nobody understands. I'm like, it's okay, slowly it'll catch on.
Yeah, let it
But
circulate, let the world understand it. And it's
so I
very
kind of
important
create
also.
what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's very like important whatever you have mentioned, that we all have that joy within, but then we need somebody who can really help us like bring the joy out. Sometimes we just move on these paths like a rudderless boat. We don't even know that what is lacking, and then this joy actually
Absolutely.
is lacking.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when you said, when you need somebody, see, the point is, you need a reflection. Now, suppose even if you get ready every morning, you actually want a mirror for you to see yourself. Only then you know how you are, how you actually are.
Yes.
Now, that's something which is outside of us. So, something which is outside of us, which we can see like this also, but in totality, for us to see, we need a mirror. But something which is within you, how will you see that? That is where coaching helps.
Right. So how did this journey, like where did you start with this job of life curator?
This has been a long journey, and today I can say that it has been a culmination of a lot of things. Like just a while ago, when you read out whatever I studied and all of that, if you've observed, I have had good education here in India, then in the UK. I've
Yes.
had good exposure, good travel, good experiences in everything. But there came a point in my life where I felt that all these things did not prepare me for a life. They did not prepare me for life. So my education prepared me for my career, maybe.
Yes.
My career prepared me for maybe for my financial stability. But none of it kind of prepared me for life. And whatever is required for life, nobody ever taught. So there was a mismatch, there was a gap that I found. And that's when I started kind of delving into it. That's when I started, doing my own research into it. Then I felt, you know, when we're talking about life, it's about understanding people because we live in a society, people because we are social beings, and understanding ourselves. So as much as I kind of drilled it down, broke it into pieces, I saw that it is all about handling emotions, either ours or others.
Or others. Absolutely.
And this emotional education is not given to us. So that's how the entire journey kind of started. But from there, the search was long and hard and everything.
Absolutely, I
So
can
quite a
understand
lot
that.
of, yeah, I could say at least for the last 10 years, 10 to 12 years, that's when the actual seed of this started off. And then because when I started, I didn't know the word life coach also. But all I wanted to do was, oh, I see this gap. Okay, maybe I can handle it this way. But I wanted to teach this to others. I mean, in the sense because I was seeing that because of a lack of a certain clarity, there were a lot of issues that people are going through. So I wanted to specifically work in that aspect.
This is actually very thoughtful of you. And today, so we are here to talk about your book, Butterfly on the Banyan Tree. So I want you to just take us back to the days. Like, when did you realize that, yes, language has the power, words, they have power?
So through this journey, I should tell you, it's the as I said, it's been long and hard, and there were different aspects in the entire journey that kind of stuck on to me. And writing was my passion. Writing was my interest because I think it kind of gave me a way to channelize my thoughts and pour out what was there within me. So
Right.
that's how writing began. But then when you talk about this particular book, and in fact, specifically when you ask about language, um, I think a few years ago when I realized that, words have so much of power. For example, I'll give you a small example. When we like somebody, how much ever they kind of, they scold us, they stop us or anything, we don't feel bad about it.
Yes.
But when if we do not connect to somebody, whatever, so even if they kind of praise you, you will actually be doubtful as to why they are praising you that way.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's when I understood that words do matter, but again, words with emotion matter a lot. Words with an intention matter a lot. So
Right.
that's how the language as such. And then I started, I was more interested in understanding. And as you've also read out, I am an NLP trainer, neuro linguistic programming, where language, words, communication is a major, major aspect in terms of understanding and, kind of being clear with what we want to speak also. And words always gave me, I think, that freedom to put in my thoughts. So that's how the interest in writing began. Coming to this book, in fact, I have a copy about this. It's called Butterfly on the Old Banyan
Old
Tree.
banyan tree.
This journey, I think this idea came in 2017.
Okay.
And I could feel a rush of that energy because till then, as I said, as I was searching, there came a point where it all just kind of came clear to me. Suppose you talk about a treasure hunt or something, you get the final bit, but unless you kind of turn it into all those twists and turns, and there is one click that happens at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that click happened when this book was actually born as a thought.
Right.
So for me, it was like, it is a culmination of a lot of things. It is a coming together of a lot of things. So when that idea came in, I should tell you the kind of rush of energy that I had. I should tell you, I think the next 2 days, even in my gym, I worked out more because there was so much energy flowing.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
as I started writing, I think in 2 days I finished half of that. It's not a very big book. It's a very small book, but at least 4 chapters or 5 chapters I had finished in 2 days. And then I felt the book was growing bigger beyond me. I mean, that book was coming out very profound for me. And I somehow felt maybe, you know what, maybe I'm not sufficient. I'm not enough to write this book. And I just kept it aside. And again, we all had the lockdown, and that's when I took it out and I completed it. Then again, with the name and everything, I thought maybe it's a little silly, Butterfly on the Old Banyan Tree. I thought maybe, it might sound silly. But
Not
then,
silly actually, but like fantasies, fantasizing over something.
because
Yeah.
as I said, I didn't think I was writing a book. It was just my thoughts which were just coming out.
Yeah.
So a few of my friends read through, and they were like, this is amazing, you should do something about it. That's when I went to a publisher, and the publisher, they loved it. And now the response that I'm getting, I feel so humbled because I had not planned this. But now when I'm seeing that people are actually understanding the essence of the book, not just the words, the response that I'm getting is people are able to relate to the book. People are able to read it as an experience,
Yes.
not as information or not as a story or not as a
Yeah.
knowledge, but they're able to experience. So when that started coming in, I think I started believing in it after that.
Yeah.
And that's when I went ahead and I actually, kind of gave it a complete shape.
Right. So they say that it's not always that the writers choose the stories. Sometimes the stories choose the writers. Like the story wanted to come out to
That
the world.
sounds so right in this aspect, actually. Yes.
Yeah.
Feels
So
so, yeah.
viewers, before moving ahead, let us, watch certain glimpses of Padmaja's life and her journey. Wow, amazing. Absolutely
Thank you,
amazing.
Rupinder. Yeah, that was the launch. In fact, the thing that you see in Telugu is because I got this book translated in Telugu.
All
Because how
right.
much ever we write, at the end of the day, I wanted my mom to read, my aunts, my
Okay.
people to read. So this is,
Wow.
in a way, kind of giving back to my language and maybe my
Yes.
region.
Very sublime on your part, absolutely. So, I'm very curious to know about the names, actually, and the characters of your book, and like we were already discussing about it. These names, how did you select these names for the characters? So it's Nivea. Again, I'm asking you, like for the correct pronunciation, Nivea
Nivea,
and
yeah,
Z. Yeah.
yeah,
So just tell us something about these characters.
yeah. So, as I'm sure you must have read through also, it's the journey of a caterpillar from being a caterpillar to actually transforming into a butterfly. And it's the conversation between the caterpillar and the banyan tree, because it comes to the banyan tree to set its cocoon. So I think that was the only thing, selecting the names was the only thing which took a little more time, because I wanted the names to reflect the personalities. So Nevia is actually because I wanted some newness in the name, something that sounds fresh, because it's a caterpillar. It's just born, and it's the beginning of the journey. And so Nivea came out of the word heaven turned back. So that's called a palindrome.
Wow.
So the bliss, the something that everybody wants at the end.
Yes.
So, and when it's turned back, there's one letter which is again interchanged. So Nivea came from there, the newness and all of that. And Z, I wanted it to mean knowledge. I wanted it to mean wisdom more than knowledge. So Z in Chinese means wisdom.
Okay.
So it's the newness learning from the wise. So that's how
Beautifully
those two
chosen.
characters are.
Beautifully chosen. All right. So, and what about the storyline, the plot? Like, what was in your mind when you were writing it out?
So it's more like, we all start as that caterpillar, because, at the beginning of our journey, when we are growing up, we all have dreams, and somehow we all feel that, what, I can go ahead and do anything. So the Nivea starts as that proud, maybe a little bit of arrogance, the naivety, the innocence, and all of this put together, which makes it very stubborn. Thinking that I can go out and, I can rule the world, kind of a feeling. So Nivya is under an impression that, tomorrow she's going to become a beautiful butterfly, and she has the whole world to, fly around. So the only time that Nivya has in her entire lifetime to be still, calm, will be the phase of a cocoon. So now in that cocoon phase, when she's going to be the most still, she's under an impression that tomorrow I'm going to become, such a big, such a beautiful butterfly. So when I look back, even that little time that I spent in silence needs to be of a significance. It needs to mean something. And that's the reason it comes in search of this banyan tree, because it gets to know that, this is the wisest and the oldest tree there. So it's like, I don't want any tree. I can't do with, just like this and like that. I want the best of it. So that's the feeling that it actually comes in search of a tree.
Like it's the ultimate truth also, that sometimes when we start off with something, maybe when we are young, or even like we are when we are old or something, when we start off with something, we always feel that we don't require anybody's suggestions, we can do everything, we can win the whole world. But then it
Absolutely.
actually is a fact that people who have experienced the things before us, they can really give us some kind of advice which will help us on the later stages.
But again, that's what. So what do we think? Oh, they are the old hags. How are they
Hmm.
going to do? And this is a changed world. They do not know this world. So it's basically our own mindset.
Hmm.
So when it comes to the tree asks, and when, what am I going to get? Because it understands the naivety of the caterpillar.
Hmm.
So the caterpillar is like, what? Tomorrow when I go out into the world, I'll come back and I'll tell you stories. So then the banyan tree is like, you need not tell me. I know the world.
Hmm.
So the caterpillar laughs, saying that, you haven't moved an inch in your life and you know the world.
Hmm.
So, where the banyan tree tells the caterpillar that slow down, only then you will understand.
Yeah.
But caterpillar is under an impression that unless I go out and fly more, how will I know what I want? So it's
Yes.
the opposite ideas, it's the
Yeah.
opposite feelings,
Yeah.
understanding of life.
And also, like Padmaja, like when two of them they collaborated and they helped each other, like knowing their own potentials. I really liked that thing about these characters.
Yeah, because so finally they come to an agreement, and then
Mhm.
Nivya spins a cocoon. So the conversation between the two of them, as long as Nivya is in the cocoon,
Mhm.
so how it understands, how it starts going within, that's the main part of the story.
Mhm.
Because
Right.
so it's basically at the end of the day, the story, it's like when she comes out of the cocoon.
Mhm.
So the caterpillar who felt that I need to fly out there in the world and do something and all, she comes to an understanding that me knowing myself and being here is enough. Just the concept of being, Rupinder, I think that's what I wanted to put across.
Yes.
Because we are all in such busy lives, such competitive world and everything, we forget ourselves. We forget that once we become what we are or what we are meant to be, everyone is unique. Everybody has a place in this world. Rather than looking at it like that, we are always in a hurry to replicate somebody, copy somebody, or follow somebody, or be in a certain stage. But I think if you can follow your passion, understand your true identity, and your true self, you are actually creating a space for yourself.
I totally
And
agree.
that space, nobody can take it from you.
Yes.
And you can't lose it also.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the second, like, most beautiful thing about your book is the language. Actually, it's very easy to comprehend. So,
Very
like,
simple, yeah.
yeah. So, was it like intentionally done, or like you wanted that it should have that kind of feel so that everybody can feel connected with the
So
storyline?
if you when you read the book, in fact, the first expression that I got from everybody is, you know what, we thought it's a children's book, but as we went through, it's too much and too wise, is
Yes.
what I'm hearing.
Mhm.
But I wanted the language to be very
Mhm.
simple, is because it's everyday language that you talk.
Yes.
Now, I don't want you to hold a dictionary if you have to read my book.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I don't want you to leave out few words, because understanding a word in context is also different.
Mhm.
You might know that, okay, fine, maybe this word means that. Because for me, what is writing? Writing is to connect.
Hmm.
Why does somebody write? Why does any writer write? Because they want to tell a story.
Yes.
And not that I cannot use such heavy words and everything, but is it necessary? That was
Yes,
my context.
that was important. And I have like gone through this book, and it's not it would not be a justice. It cannot justify the title that it's a children's book or something. It is for the children, teenagers, and for every age group. Actually, I could relate with that. Like I've been an avid reader throughout, and so I know this thing. Like it was a delight reading it. And I told you yesterday also that because it's a small book, so you can carry it anywhere. You can read it while you're traveling or something. So it's a beautiful book altogether.
You know what, Rupinder? That's the uh, flux that we usually get into, because we feel that things need to be hard. Things
Yes.
need to be complicated for us to understand. Things
Mhm.
need to be, they have to be difficult. Only
Yes.
then we have a sense of accomplishment or in a sense of achievement.
Mhm.
But if you honestly think, everything is simple, yeah. Life
Mhm.
is so simple. But
Yes.
we feel, unless it's complicated, unless
Yes.
I have a sense that I'm solving something, I do not get that sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
Because that's
Absolutely.
what we are taught. We are taught that you have to go and achieve, you have to go and achieve.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, just be, everything will be there.
And also, like while going through all these different parts in the book, the different storylines, there was this thing, you see what you want to see. So can you elaborate this for the viewers, that what was in your mind? Like, I really want to understand this thing, that we see what we want to see.
Absolutely. Mm, okay. I'll again explain it to you in a very, very simple term. Suppose, just if you can recollect a time of your classroom when you were studying in school or college, you must have had a teacher, right?
Yeah.
You must have had your favorite teacher. So when the teacher was teaching, the teacher teaches the same aspect in the same way to all the 20 students in the class. Or maybe
Mhm.
during our times it was 60 students or
Mhm. Yes,
40
yes.
students.
They used to
Yeah.
be.
So the teacher taught the same thing.
Mhm.
But after the class, when you asked the students,
Mhm.
somebody might have loved the teacher, somebody must have felt, oh my God, she's a bore,
Mhm.
somebody cannot stand the same teacher, or anything. Now, the teacher did not go to each student and tell it in their ears.
Mhm.
It was the same thing. What was there was there. But the students, we took the teacher based on our own experience, our own expectation, our own understanding, our own imagination, creativity, everything put together. So the world is running, the world is there, but we all take situations based on what we are.
Mhm.
As
Right.
they say, when there is a half filled glass,
Yeah.
are you seeing it half full or half empty?
Empty. Yes,
What
absolutely.
is there, but
Yes,
we see what we want to see.
it is actually. So, and there was also one point in that, when that one character tells the other that you are, imperfectly perfect.
Yes.
So, like, really,
um,
we all are, we all have our own imperfections, but we always want to be perfect. What is
yes.
your take on that?
um, we are, as you said, we are, no one is perfect, none of us are perfect. We all want to be perfect, but then how realistic is it?
Hmm.
Having a wish is different, but how realistic is it? Because if we can start accepting our imperfections, I think, we come to a stage where we live in reality. We are okay. There's no need to put up a face. There is no need to, kind of do something which you are not.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
since we all, most of us, we want to be perfect, what happens is we start moving out in a way to do things which are not for you. So, who doesn't have flaws? All of us have. But as they say, it's the magazine covers, it's the TV advertisements. These are the things which are ruling. They show perfect things. Instagram pictures, they show perfect, uh, pictures. But how much are the people spending in terms of money, effort, time, and everything to make it that perfect? Now, what is happening is people who are watching these things are actually taking this as on face value, which is not true.
Yes.
So, as much as we start chasing perfection, we will definitely feel we are short of something because we can never match up that. But if we understand that, what, these are my imperfections, this is how I am, it's okay. Now, then, once we understand that, we can work on them for our own advantage. We will know which group we will fit into, we will know which career or which work that we can fit into, we will know where we can be happy, everything. So it's not about being perfect, but it's about accepting our imperfections. Now, when I say imperfections, there are some times where we commit a lot of mistakes also. There will be wrongdoings, there will be mistakes, and every mistake or every imperfection might have a scar. How proudly we can wear our scars, that
Very
is
important.
what determines the quality of life that you're building for yourself. That will definitely determine the kind of space that you are in on a day to day basis. Now, if I want to hide my scars, I will have to do so many layers above it.
Yes.
But if I can show you my scars and be proud of them, because scars are nothing but evidential proof of us, of our own learning in life.
Mhm.
Every time we've made a mistake, we've learned something out of it.
We've learned something.
That's why we are here. So rather than hushing up the mistakes, or rather than, hiding the scars, if we can put it out there saying that, you know what, this is what I tried, this is where I went wrong, and this is what I've learned out of it, there's nothing to hide. That gives you a sense of freedom.
Actually, when people like you talk about all these things, that these cars are beautiful, then only I think the world will come to know that yes, it's okay. Because earlier we were not talking, we were not discussing. So it's very important to
Absolutely,
open up.
absolutely, Rupinder. In fact, I will also, kind of bring your attention into something else here. When we say scars, we see a lot of stories. We see, physically challenged people. We see differently abled. All these things, Rupinder, to an extent, you can see them and people understand. Even Paralympics, I love that, people go out of their way to actually show their potential. But again, if you observe, all these are scars, all these are imperfections which are seen. What about our emotional imperfections? What about our emotional scars? We cannot see them, we cannot show them, we cannot prove them. And that is where a lot of us, we do not even get an acknowledgement from others.
Yes.
So that's a vicious cycle again. Since we are not getting an acknowledgement, again, people get back, into feeling low, feeling incompetent, and all of this. Because something which is emotional, how will you show it? So, what I mean to say is not just physical, but also emotional. But
Emotional.
if we can talk about our fears, about, our anxieties, our emotional imperfections also, because what happens is, once we see them and once we accept them, only then we can overcome them.
Definitely. And I think they are the only hindrances, actually, the
Yes,
emotional
yes,
scars and the
yes,
emotional outlet that we do not have. Nobody
yes.
taught us, actually,
Yeah.
that how to.
See,
Hmm.
nobody is at fault also, because be it in terms of parents or the society or anything, there is no point in blaming them also, because that is the best that they have learned
They have learned, absolutely.
out of their experience, out of their being. But what happens is they take that to be the reality and they try to rub that off onto somebody else. And people who are starting off with dreams are actually cut off or actually snubbed because of all these things. But again, the most beautiful tool that we all have is our choice, is our life. It is a blessing, and making a choice it's a wonderful tool that we all have. How do we make a choice in a situation at a point which is very important is what will matter. So that is what, even in the book, when you see it, when the butterfly comes out, there is an imperfection. Now the tree is also like kind of, holding on to see how is she going to react to it now, because she already kind of predetermined that she's going to be the most beautiful butterfly. But when she came out, there was an imperfection. So even the tree was waiting, to see how is she going to, kind of react to it. And because of the cocoon phase, because of the learning that she's had in that cocoon phase, she was able to accept it and say, you know what, this imperfection is an evidence for my learning. You know what, I'm going to wear it proudly on my wing. And that's
Wonderful.
what the tree also, feels. You know what, in fact, our gurus, our teachers, that is the sense of satisfaction that they get when they know that, what, this person is being themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the book, yeah.
Mhm. And if I now come to the the process of getting the first book published, the kind of joy you had, Just tell us about that also. That how did you feel when you got your first book in your hands? That this is your first, accomplishment as a writer.
Um, Very emotional, I should say, because I never thought I would be a writer. Believe me, I've read, I mean, I do read a lot, but it never crossed my mind that I should write. But as you said, maybe some stories choose us. And
Yes.
when this happened, I didn't know a thing about publishing. I didn't know how to go about it. But again, that's when our other expertise comes in, our research, the kind of, I saw different options, what I could do and everything.
Yes.
What I wanted was more than earning out of this book. I wanted more, this book to reach to as many people possible. So again, if we are clear with our outcome, why did I want to write this? Why do I want to market it? Why do I want to tell people that this is written? It's because I want more people to read this. Again, something which I believed after I started seeing the responses of people, because even after I wrote it, I didn't believe in it so much. For me, it was like, oh, you know what? My thoughts have come out. That's all. But when I saw that this book is going beyond me, it's growing bigger than me, that's when I went into the process of actually doing it. So again, all alone, I was trying to figure out. So I found a publisher, then I got it done. Then again, I wanted the book to be interesting, not just words. So I got the illustrations done. Uh, I got the formatting done. Again, one publisher I didn't work, I didn't kind of like it. So I went for somebody else who can format my book, who can bring it out to what it is today. And I love the cover, by the way. So
Yes, it
again,
is
the
absolutely.
different,
The color combination and everything, it's
yeah,
beautiful.
so yeah, so the different options which were given
Hmm.
to me. So that's again, your day-to-day things that you
Yes,
need to go through
you're
when you
right.
want to bring out
Mm.
something
And how are
nice.
you using social media as an author now? Like, because nowadays everything is on social media. How is
Yes.
it helping you?
Honestly speaking, I am there on social media, and I have just been, just doing my work, or, in my circle, that's all. I've never gone into this digital marketing, or no, I've not branded or marketed yet. I am getting some advices that maybe I should, because people are loving the book. Again, you know what? These many days, nobody told me this. Though I'm into my life coaching and everything, that was different. But with this book, I am getting a lot of people suggesting how to go about and, put it across. And that gives me the sense of understanding that people are loving it. And in fact, somebody told me, Padmaja, it's not about you marketing it, it is about the justice that you're doing for the book. Now, if you don't take
Wonderful
it out
advice.
to more people, I
Yes.
think you yourself, you're doing injustice. And that got me thinking. So, yes, now maybe, a little bit of digital marketing and digital branding which is starting. It's still not started. Most probably I'll be doing that.
I would like to again stress on the point to my viewers that yes, please go ahead, have a look at this book, Butterfly on the Old Banyan Tree. It's worth reading, absolutely. And I have just gone through it yesterday, and it was a wonderful read. And it's a very small book; you can carry it anywhere, and with beautifully crafted characters and storyline, it is beautiful. Before
It's
we,
available, Rupinder, on my website,
okay.
padmajapenmetsa.com,
Mm-hmm.
or it's there on Amazon and
Absolutely.
Flipkart, Kindle, everything as well.
Right, right. So please grab a copy and get yourself equipped with this new kind of a story. So before we finish off with today's show, I want to ask you that if one piece of advice you would like any new or the like budding writer would seek from you, what piece of advice would you give him or her?
I would just say be yourself and just write what you feel is right for you. Just kind of resonate your thoughts and then just put it down. Um, there are no set rules. Of course, there could be some literary rules, and if I may say this, I'm sorry, but I do not know any of those rules. I did not write because of rules. I did not write to fit into a certain category or anything. Just put down what you want to put down, and it will take shape.
Right.
Only when you're true to yourself and when you're true to your work, it will find a way. So, more than thinking about where to market, what to do about it, I think just be true to yourself and your writing. That's all.
This is a beautiful advice indeed. And what are your like future projects now? So you already have come up with this book, and I know you have many thoughts inside your mind and some beautiful advices which you must share with the world. So what are the future plans now?
Future plans, Rupinder. I have already, in fact, this book is going to become a signature program because I work closely with a lot many organizations and individuals. I have an entire program charted out for this book in the way, like, it will give a clarity on how to understand your own self and how to actually kind of put them into practice, because again, not everybody might know how to do it. So how to take this book ahead and actually apply it in their life. Now, when I say corporates also, I do a lot of senior executive leadership coaching and training, the workshops for teams, the workshop for strategy, and I work a lot with schools and colleges. So this book is going to become a signature program,
Okay.
because at the end of the day, it's all about understanding your own self. Even if you're a professional, if you're an entrepreneur or a teacher or anything, at the end of the day, you're actually looking at working with people, and working with people requires you to understand them, the emotions. And that actually, going a little further down, you need to understand yourself and your own emotions.
Absolutely.
So this can be applied into senior leadership, middle management, team management, into schools, colleges, for students. In fact, I do a lot of parenting programs. So this book has so many dimensions. So I'm going to take it ahead. Apart from this, I have my own programs,
Yes.
which I do, my coaching and everything. And there is some thought which has already come in for my next book. So let me just figure out still.
Yeah, we'll wait
I
for
have the
that.
central theme, but I'm just thinking, which direction to take it.
Yes, yes, we'll wait for that book also.
Thank
So
you.
you, as you told that during this pandemic period, you got this kind of idea that no, you should go ahead with this story and you should like come up with it as actually a proper book and everything. So where do you see the world, like post-pandemic world? Of course, we all have gone through so many ups and downs during this pandemic, and many of us we have come up with something new vision for ourselves and for our future. Just like as a writer, you also felt during the pandemic that yes, now this can be the next step. So now after pandemic, where do you see the world? Like, are we going to retain whatever we learned during this pandemic?
That's a good question. But again, are we out of the pandemic? I still don't know, because
Yeah.
I think we are going
That is
into
also a thing.
another thing as of now.
Yeah.
So I think one thing which strikes very well, in the pandemic is um, people slowing down, people actually trying to see what is very important to them. If you see, all the frills are taken off now, the extra accessories and the things that life had, everything has gone, and people have understood that just to live is a blessing, and just to live, what you need is very minimalistic. I think that's one basic learning that we've all had. Again, post pandemic, now, as you said, do we carry that learning further or not? Again, it depends on the kind of butterfly that we are, because that's the
Beautifully
cocoon
answered.
phase that we all had. Because see,
Yes.
at the end of the day, the cocoon phase is nothing but the most darkest, loneliest, scariest part of one's life. We all go through that phase,
Yes.
and collectively we've gone through this pandemic, which is also a kind of a cocoon phase. Now, when we are in that cocoon, when we are in such a phase, how we hold our perception, how we understand of things around us, how we mold our thought process, how we mold our behavioral patterns, so that it will help us later on. That will determine the kind of butterflies that we become.
Indeed.
So, in that so that happens in everybody's life. As a pandemic, when we've all gone through something which the nature is teaching us, how we pick up what we've learned here. Now, again, see, we cannot force anybody to carry it further.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody who carries will live in a certain way and they will see the benefits of it. Somebody who
Yes.
doesn't carry will, again, so that's what I'm saying. Whatever we go through, how we hold our own self and our perceptions in that phase will determine the kind of butterfly that we become. So, post
Agreed.
pandemic, we've learned a lot. So, if we
Yes.
can apply the learning, I'm
Yes.
sure, we will live.
Thank you so much, Padmaja, for your time and for orienting us with this beautiful story, Butterfly on the Old Banyan Tree. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you,
today.
Rupinder. Thank you to Work TV for having me here. And thank you so much. That's
Yeah. Thank you, viewers. So that's it from our side. Today we met Miss Padmaja Penmetsa, who has come up with her new book. And as we told, you can grab this copy from Amazon and also from her website. That is padmajapenmetsa.com. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So that's it from our side for today. And we'll be meeting you in the next episode with yet another milestone achiever. Thank you so much. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, Padmaja.
Thank you. Bye.